Hey guys, this is Greg with Medical Muscle. Today I'm going to be doing another video in the video series of the core rotations that I had to do during year 3 of clinical rotations. And today we're going to talk about emergency medicine. Okay, so just have to say I absolutely love this rotation. It was a lot of fun. Not all of you will have this rotation as a core. It depends on the hospital that you go to, but that was the case with my hospital. Okay, so the main beauty was there was no shelf exam. Okay, so that was 6 weeks where I got to study for the next shelf exam. I got to study specifically for what I felt like I needed to work on, which was cardiology. It's a heavy topic in all specialties, and on step 2, and in emergency medicine. So the daily schedule with emergency medicine changed quite a bit. Okay, so either we had 3 different shifts. Either we were 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., 3 p.m. to 11 p.m., or 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Just straight 8 hours. That, and I got to tell you, for the most part, those were the shortest hours that we had in any rotation. Most rotations can push it to 9, 10, and 12 hours. That's common. So to have a 8-hour shift and you have to get there at 8 and have to leave at 8 was great. A lot of the other rotations, you had to come earlier than your shift to get things, see patients, whatever, and stay later. You had to get work done. Emergency medicine wasn't like that. We had an 8-hour window. When we were done, we were done. We had to be there when we had to be there. So the other nice part about it was we tended to work on average about 4 days a week. That was average. Some days we did 5, and sometimes we did 3. And the beauty of it was our preceptor, it might not be the same as yours, but our preceptor was very flexible. So we could kind of pick the days that we want to work. Usually we couldn't change if it was going to be a night or a day shift, but we could change like what day of the week it was. So if I wanted to work on the weekend instead of the midweek, I could do that. There were quite a bit of weekend shifts. It was just like random, kind of, spaced out just to fit everybody in. I chose to not work on weekends. I would prefer to take an extra shift in the middle of the week to have a weekend day off, just so I could chill with other students who didn't have emergency medicine. But, it wasn't a big deal because you're only doing 4 days a week on average. That's pretty easy. Okay, and some weeks you only have 3 days. You have a lot of time to chill. The worst part about internal medicine was the overnight shift. It wasn't horrible, but it was rough. I had a period where I went like 6 days in a row. I think I had loaded up an extra day where I had all nights, and it was during the winter, and I basically didn't see the sun for that whole week. It kind of sucked. So what I would do is I would, the night before the shift, I would try to sleep in as late as I could. And then, obviously I get to the hospital 11, which is nice because there's no traffic getting there. Get there at 11, go over the shift. There's no windows in the emergency room, so it's not like I knew what time of day it was. So to me, while I was working, it made no difference. And it was busy, and sometimes you see some crazier stuff that comes in during the night. So work until 7 a.m. and I would get home, and then the sun is just rising, and then I would just try to sleep immediately when I get home. Okay, that was the toughest part. I would usually take 2 ZQuil, so it's like Benadryl, 2 Benadryl or melatonin or something, just to help me stay asleep. It wasn't hard for me to fall asleep. That was pretty easy because I was so tired, usually because I got bad sleep the night before. But to stay asleep was really, really tough. I'd usually, if I only took 1 ZQuil, I'd usually only sleep maybe, 6 hours, and I couldn't go back to sleep because the sun is out, right? So blackout curtains, the face mask, those face mask things, having some like noise machine that has like white noise, and like a sleep aid, and getting the room super cold. That was like the combination that I needed to stay asleep throughout the whole night. If I could have done it differently, especially if you're doing overnights in any other rotation, I would have instead stayed up after getting up at 7, stayed up and like worked out and did everything that I needed to do and then go to sleep. Because the problem was, since I was sleeping the second I got home, because it was nice because it was still a little dark outside, the sun wasn't super intense, it wasn't that loud, and not many cars. I could fall asleep faster, but the problem was I would wake up and then I would have my whole day, and the sun was kind of setting, so I'd be waking up at like, I don't know, 4, I guess. And then so I'd wake up and then I'd be awake from 4, and then I'd have to go to work at 11. So technically the work was at the end of my day, so I was shot by the end of the shift. What would be better is to wake up right before the shift started and then go in and then, enjoy the rest of the day after the shift like you would normally do, right? For me, I normally exercise and get all my stuff done after the shift. But hey, that's up to you. But the way I did it didn't allow me to see the sun. So what was entailed during the rotation? Well, we did different aspects to emergency medicine. That's what our hospital offered. So we had kind of like a geriatric, fall, and psych pod that worked, one section. Then the next one was like just younger people, more cardiac stuff. And then we had the trauma bay. So you do a rotation with the trauma bay, usually falls, car accidents, things like that. And then the other pod was patients with cancer who had some kind of emergency medicine issue, okay? And I rotated through all those. I gotta say, it was a lot of fun. And I felt like during emergency medicine, medical students are extremely useful. They're really helpful. So this is where you can really get a lot of experience, a lot of hand-on experience. I got, hand-on experience doing chest compressions on people. I get a lot of experience with different physicals that I learned at SGU that I didn't think I would have needed to know. Okay, so all your physical skills really come into play. The trauma bay, definitely get a good pair of scissors so you can cut people's clothes off quickly. You can be helpful in that way. Always have gloves. And I learned really quickly, never do a physical without gloves, ever. Some rotations, you'd see attendings do physicals without gloves, especially in surgery. They were so fast, it was just like, not a big deal. And usually the patients weren't, ill. They weren't sick. Usually it was like something that had nothing to do with an infectious cause. But down in the emergency room, there's a lot of infectious diseases that you're coming in contact with, specifically monkeypox. That one you can acquire through skin-to-skin contact. So definitely wear gloves. Some of the downsides is you'll do a physical on this person. You kind of feel them. They feel a little warm. And then it turns out they have COVID or they have the flu, okay? And you've just been all up in their business with your stethoscope and listening to their lungs. So I think it's a really smart idea to get a flu shot, get a COVID shot, and get a mask. You don't have to, obviously, but you're going to be exposed and you will get sick. That did happen during my rotation, and it really sucked. So I wish you guys the best of luck if you have this rotation. It's a lot of fun. You see a variety of things. You see everything. Cardiac, COVID, obviously. A lot of strange things. A lot of internal bleeds. A lot of PEs. A lot of what else? A lot of stuff. And you basically just present this information to one of the residents, and the resident will present it to the attending, and then you make the plan. So I definitely felt like I was part of the team. All right, guys, so that's the whole thing. Sorry, it was kind of a rant. And if you can, like and subscribe this video. I got many more videos to talk about to come. All right, go kick some butt.